Hello everyone. So we are live now. Uh, Today is day 16 of this SOC Analyst 30 days L1 series, and we are into the day 16. So today I'm going to talk about the basic SIM use cases and the Splunk setup. Okay. So today in today's session particularly we are going to talk about how to install Splunk or for the demonstration purpose I am going to use the Splunk cloud, but as you know we have a Splunk enterprise version also. So we will talk about like what's the key difference of the Splunk cloud and Splunk enterprise, or how can you use a Splunk cloud for your basic SOC L1 setup. Okay, for your basic demonstration or for your basic practice purpose you can use the Splunk cloud. So I hope my voice is completely audible for you. So drop some comments if you are audible, if you are able to listen my voice completely clear. Drop some comments as many of you are still joining the stream. So say hi. Hello everyone again. Am I completely audible? Drop some comments so we can start our stream or our session. Yeah. So I got some comments from Jolly. So hello Jolly, very clear. Okay. So let's start today's session. So in today's session, we are going to talk about, as you know, Splunk. So first, I'm going to talk about Splunk, and then we will talk about the other things. Okay, like the basic SIM use cases, because it's very important to know about the SIM use cases, because using that only you can able to understand how what you will basically do with your sim, with your logs which you have in your sim tool. Okay, what how you can plan your incidents, your responses, how you can create compliance reportings like PCI DSS or HIPAA or GDPR, or how can you basically reduce some alert fatigue by correlation or correlation techniques. Okay, so that's the agenda for today, and let's see. So first, that's the topic of today's session, but I'm not particularly talking about this right now. I'm going to talk about the Splunk. So tell me in the comments like what you understand by this. Like why did we pick Splunk, or why we will use Splunk in our SOC L1 journey. So basically we are going to talk about Splunk a lot more in our sessions. Like in previous 3 to 4 sessions, we are basically hearing that word Splunk many times. So what you will basically understand by this, like if you are following the stream or if you are watching the other videos, so what will basically you will understand by the word Splunk. So what is Splunk, why Splunk is used, and what's the use in your journey of this Splunk tool. So drop some comments if you are if you can. So I create a poll also in your chat. So that's a new feature. So let me create drop a comment in the chat like why Splunk is used. So the live chat, let me see. Okay, so why Splunk is used. So tell me in the comments like why Splunk is used. If you okay, so Splunk is basically the SIM tool. We are able to you monitor our logs in Splunk. So what you have to do, you have to first create an account on this. So we have two types of Splunk product available uh, for your practice purpose, which is cloud platform and enterprise platform. And right now I have the cloud platform with me. Okay, so I created an account for cloud platform, and you can also use the Splunk enterprise version also. But first we have to know about like what's the key difference between Splunk cloud or Splunk enterprise. These are two separate tools we have for we will use basically in our SOC journey, but you have to understand like the why Splunk cloud is considered or why Splunk enterprise is considered. So if any one of you know about the key difference between those two, so you can drop some comments. Otherwise, I'm basically explaining. Okay, so this is the setup of Splunk Cloud, but do not worry. I will basically tell you how to set up this Splunk Cloud in your system, because once you know about the key differences of Splunk Cloud and Splunk Enterprises, you will think like the deploying of Splunk Cloud is very easy and we can use it in our SOC journey. So suppose like the key difference we have in a Splunk Cloud or a Splunk Enterprise is the deployment. So mark this word or remember this word is deployment, right? You can deploy the Splunk Cloud on this Splunk hosts, okay? But you can deploy the Splunk Enterprise on any premises. Like you can install Splunk Enterprise on your own servers or virtual machines, wherever you want, you can install it. But if you want to use Splunk Cloud, then it is a fully managed cloud service. Okay, Splunk basically hosts it and maintain it. That's why we are right now using Splunk Cloud for our practical purpose, but you can also use the Splunk Cloud, Splunk Enterprise also. If you go here on products and click on Splunk Enterprise, you will basically see how to create an account. So you can create an account. After that, you will receive a download link, and then you can create a complete setup for Splunk Enterprise on your own servers, on your local host, or if you are using virtual machines, any type of virtual machine, you can use it. But if you do not want to do that, you can also use the cloud platform as well. So go to the cloud platform, provide your credentials, create an account for 14 days, and no other things are required. And then when you receive an email, you have to verify it. Like a email confirmation will be forwarded from Splunk, and then when you verify your email, you will receive the credentials like a login URL, a username, and the password. Once you log in into your system with provided credentials, you have to change your password, and after the password change, you can log in into your system. So that's my setup of Splunk Cloud. Here you can see, like if I visit first this particular section, I can see it will take some time to load, and this is the main home page. You can call it as main home page, and a query is written, or sorry, a text is written like hello Splunk Cloud admin. So this is the admin portal of Splunk Cloud, and here are multiple apps are there. So these all are the apps which is basically integrated in Splunk Cloud section, which is search and reporting, audit trails, cloud monitoring console, discover Splunk observability cloud, Splunk secure gateway, universal forwarder, upgrade readiness app, and manage apps and find more apps. So these are the main functionalities. So right now, what app we are going to use is search and reporting, right? Here are also the all the apps are given. You can see search and reporting, audit trails, cloud monitoring console, discover Splunk, or Splunk secure gateway, or universal forwarder, right? And here you will find a message section. Like if you have any alert, if you have any notification, then it will be placed here. And then the setting of your account, like if you want to add some data, so we can add data from here. You can also search something from in the settings, so you can search something, and then cloud monitoring console. I'm going to show you these things one by one, but right now I'm telling you all the functionalities we have. Then we have activity tab. In activity tab we have jobs and triggered. we have a search field, basically a find field, which we can find it. And this is the your account setting, your preferences, and logout button. And then support services. So if you want to contact uh, on Splunk, you can use this, right? And right now, as I'm you can also these drag and, if you want to see apps, then you can use this. If you do not want to see apps, then you can also hide it. Okay, you can search here apps by names also, and you can manage also. Like if I click on manage, you will see this will take a few seconds to load. So if I click on manage, then I can manage those apps, all those apps. Okay, so these all those apps are available here, and I can manage also. You can also create an app and browse more apps. So these are the basic functionalities we have in a Splunk dashboard. Okay, now here we have bookmarks, dashboard, and right now I do not have any dashboard, so no dashboard is created here. And then search history or recently viewed, created by you. If you are shared this console with anyone, then this is the shared with me, or anyone shared with me, then we have some functionalities over here right now. So how did you use this? And if I scroll it down, you have some common tasks. You have some Splunk recommended. You have a functionality called shared with my organization, or any other bookmark. You can add bookmarks. You can add bookmark from organization. You have some common tasks like add data, search data, visualize your data, manage alerts, add another team members, or configure mobile devices, right? And in the end, you have some learning resources, learning the Splunk through docs, learning, or you, if you want to get help some from Splunk experts, then this section. Then expand your capabilities, join the Splunk communities. So basically some important links are there to learn more about Splunk, right? So any certification, if you want to pursue on Splunk platform, so there are training and certifications, then other things. Okay, so our L1 part, what basically we need to create, or we need to add some data from different sources. Like you have some sources from Windows or cloud or Linux or firewall, any server, data server, databases, right? So you have to learn how to add data into Splunk environment. And if you have some downloaded data, like if you have downloaded logs, then how you can add those logs here. And then what you can do, you can search your incidents, you can search your queries. So we can search everything in in Splunk with the help of Splunk search. And then we can visualize, so we can create dashboard using this. And then we can also manage alerts with correlation technique. So we can monitor our data, and we can also manage team members. So these are common tasks we have. So these are Splunk recommended tasks, but if you want to do something more, you can also do it. Okay, and these things are also, these apps are also very important. Suppose if I click right now on search and reporting, so a new section will be appeared, in which you will see the search and reporting part. So basically, if you have integrated or created any sources, so all the data will be available here. So you can search it, you can use those data for analytics purpose, right? So there are different functionalities we have. So but for that, before we begin, we have to uh, add some data in it. So let's add some data in the Splunk environment, so you basically are able to understand it. So I currently I have a downloaded file with me, and I will add that downloaded file in this data section, right? But I will also tell you, if you have Windows, if you have any other sources like cloud environment, so how you can add data in it. So first, click on add data. So a section will be appeared which is asked what type, what data do you want to send to the Splunk platform? Because right now, see, you are not using Splunk Enterprises, so your Splunk Enterprise will be not hosted on your local host or your local VM or your local servers, but it is hosted on cloud platform, which is managed by Splunk, managed by Splunk. Like Splunk is basically host this and manage it. So we have to send, or what type of data, what data do we want to send to Splunk platform? So there are multiple sources available here, which is cloud computing. So get your cloud computing data into Splunk platform. We can send the cloud data to the Splunk platform, and if you click it, there are 10 resources like AWS billing data, AWS CloudFront access logs, AWS config, AWS ELB access logs, AWS bucket logs, AWS NICE firehouses, AWS web services configurations, AWS web service configuration rule data, and then notification data. Then cloud trail. If you are familiar with AWS, then you you basically sure about what cloud trail is. And then AWS VPC flow log data. So there are 10 sources for cloud computing part. And then for networking part, we have two data sources, which is Cisco Adaptive Security and Palo Alto Networks. So if you basically installed any of these two in your network, so we can basically forward those data to the Splunk platform. And then for operating system, we have one data source, which is Microsoft Windows. So we have to configure it, right? And then for security, like antivirus or these things, so we have McAfee, Microsoft AD, and Symantec endpoint protection, SEP. So these are the common sources we have right now in Splunk cloud. Okay, these are the common. Otherwise, you can also upload some files from your computer. So right now, as you are using free trial of Splunk cloud, you can upload 500 MB file. Okay, you can only upload, the limit is the like the length is restricted, so the limit allowed is 500 MB. So you can upload your files up to 500 MB, and you can also monitor those you can also monitor some files and ports on this Splunk cloud platform, right? So if I click here, you will see some files and port numbers. So see, these all are the file and port numbers. So HTTP event collector. So if I zoom in, so we can configure tokens that client can use to send data over HTTP for HTTPS. Log D input for the Splunk platform, like this input collect data from log D on Mac OS and send it to the Splunk platform. So we can basically monitor it. So everything that will be logged, send it to the Splunk cloud platform. Okay, so Splunk secure gateway, Splunk secure gateway mobile alerts, deep link dashboard, and then other things. So we have multiple things over here to send or to provide the data, or to send the data to the Splunk platform. Okay, suppose you will ask me like how I can configure my Windows to the Splunk platform. Like I want to set, or I want to use my operating system, which is Windows, to basically forward the data to the Splunk platform. So what you have to do, you have to click here on operating system, then click on Microsoft Windows. So we have to configure now, and then click on configure now, and then you will have a process. So this is 3-step process, and here the first is asked choose collection method. So you can forward data to Splunk indexes. So we can use this and then can next. Then we have a configurational setup. So choose your deployment environment. Like what is your deployment environment? So single instance. So if I read it, what is written here? So a single instance Splunk enterprise deployment that combines indexing and search management functions, then distributed or Splunk cloud. Right now right now we are using Splunk cloud, so it is automatically selected. And you can also see the full configuration documentation here, right? So using the documentation, you can easily set up your Windows OS to forward the logs to the Splunk platform. Hopefully you are getting it what I'm trying to say. And I think we basically performed a practical also, like you can how you can forward the data from your log sources to the cloud. We use logly that time. So logly is basically log management tool. So I we cannot use logly to the for the purpose of SIM. So that's why we switch to the Vaiju or Splunk. And now, because Splunk also need that data, so we have to forward the data from various log sources which you will have in your organization or enterprise, or your environment. So first you have to set up, first you have to keep that thing in mind, like from where you need to send your data to the cloud, Splunk cloud or Splunk enterprise. And then only you can you have to configure it. So in the Splunk documentation, you will find everything, like how you can add or how you can configure your Windows to send the data to the cloud platform. But right now I'm not using it, or I will click on next. So you can also verify your data if it is in digest or not. So you can run this Splunk query in the search reporting app, and if the data is fetched, that means your uh, Windows is perfectly configured. If the data is not fetched, then you have to check your configuration. So right now, I'm not particularly using the Windows environment to forward the data from, or I'm going to use this. So I'm giving some data into the Splunk uh, platform from my local file. So I'm going to basically upload a file in it. So see, here we have to select sources. So we can we can upload a file. We can also drag and drop, use the drag and drop functionality is also available. The maximum file upload size is 500 MB. As I told you earlier, like we can only upload 500 MB file in this particular section right now. So click on select, and now you can upload your file here. So I'm going to upload a log file. So the file is being processed, and as your file being processed, so right now I basically select the sources. Okay, I select the sources right now. But as your file is processed, you have to click on next, and then you have to set your sources type. So whatever you have in that file will be available here, whatever logs I have basically. So we have different sources type as well. You can create your own source type as well, right? So if I click here, like the default sources type, so we have application sources, the custom, the databases. So basically, suppose if you have multiple files, if you have multiple log files, so how will you remember it? Like what type of logs it is, where you collect those files. So we will basically set the source type, as you can say, like the name, right? And there are multiple, of course, pre-created names are available. Like suppose if this file belongs to the email logs, right? So the send mail logs, or postfix logs, or proc mail logs, or database logs. So the MySQL or DB2, MySQL slow, right? So there are MySQL error logs. So we can provide or we can set the source type. You can also click on save as. So you can provide your own names, like suppose I've provided here like demo, or provide the description as YouTube session. And then category, so category you can choose it like the database, email, metrics, or network, operating system, or structured. So whatever you have in your mind you can choose the category. After that you can choose the app, like what app of Splunk cloud you are basically about to use. So right now we are using the search and reporting, but if you are looking forward to analyze the log, or you, so audit trail is also, then cloud monitoring console. So we have different options, right? So in this particular SOC series I'm not able to uh, tell you the complete Splunk setup, or like the Splunk scenarios, like how we can use this audit trail or cloud monitoring console, or everything. Because if we are going to read all those Splunk things, then we will need some time. So like it is not, I'm not able to complete the SOC L1 part in 30 days. Like so I think something, I created what you can do. So I will create every Splunk function based videos separately and will upload it on my channel as in regular videos. Okay. But I will enable, or I will restrict those videos for membership only. Okay. So you have to be the member of the channel, and then only you can watch those Splunk dedicated videos. In those videos I will basically cover everything from scratch to advanced for Splunk cloud platform. Right now I have also uploaded some videos to membership account. So network penetration testing videos are already there, and a few bug bounty videos are already there. So these are the videos from my paid workshop. So it is now available for members only. So if you want to watch it and want to improve your network pen testing skills or your bug bounty skills, so you can buy membership and watch those videos. Okay. So I select the data sources, or basically save data sources. Right now I'm using the search and reporting app, and click on save it, and then click OK, because I right now I already created this source type. And then click next, and then you can use the input settings, like the what is the host or index. So right now I will not modify this setting. Then review, so your settings will be reviewed. You can review your settings. So this is the uploaded file, the file name is this, the source type is demo, the host is this, like where I host this file, and the index is default. And then click on submit. So as you click on submit, your file will be hosted. Your file will be forwarded to this. Now what you can do here, you can build like your file will be uploaded successfully. So you can configure your inputs by going to settings, like data input. So I'm going to use in another tab, but you can start your searching right now. What data you uploaded, you can extract fields, like create search time field extractions. You can add some more data, you can download those apps, you can build dashboards for visualization purpose, right? So I will click. Or one more thing, like you can also watch some examples and tutorials also. Like you can do the Splunk of courses also, like Splunk is, I think, launched video tutorials for how to use the Splunk platform in effective way. So you can use that also. But like in this section you can learn about the Splunk search. So how you can search anything in the Splunk, or how you can search something specific in your added data. So you can use this tutorial. Okay. So like suppose I'm uploaded, and then I want to use the Splunk search. So how you can do it? So there are, everything is documented. You can see like what or those fields are: the Splunk application menu, Splunk bar, apps bar, search bar, new search view, right? So everything is there. And then you can click or you can create something for searching, right? So everything you can create, you can learn here basically. So the data inputs, you can also add some new data inputs as well. And if I click on search, start searching, so it will redirecting me to the search and reporting app. And here I can use this Splunk searches to figure out like what's wrong in this uploaded data, or if I want to search something specifically. So right now this is your search and reporting tab. Okay, I'm not right now I'm not using the Splunk other apps, but we are here, or we are in the Splunk search and reporting app. So we have new search section, so there is a query is already there. And like if you see the query, so here the source, so the source, the file name, the host, so this is your host, and the source type, so this is demo. And now you want to search something, so you have to create a search here. So in this file we have 676 events, and then all the events are here. If you want to see the details, the show per page, like I only want to see 10 things in per pages, the list view basically. So how you want to view it, so row, list, or table. Then other things also, like the interesting fields, account name, account type, activity id, category, date, hour, or event time, or event type, or host name. So basically these interesting fields are generated through your logs. So what type of logs you basically uploaded, according to that these fields are generated, right? And then we can use for these logs for analytics purpose. Like the analytics purpose are also there. So we have to learn about everything related to search and reporting or audit CrowdTrail. So these two are very important for you right now, because as a beginner you have to learn from this, from Splunk. Or as Splunk is giving you 14 days free trial for its cloud platform. So what you can do, first, watch all the or read all the Splunk documentation, and then claim an account on a Splunk platform or a Splunk cloud platform. Create it, forward some logs, provide dummy logs you can download from GitHubs, like the Windows logs or Linux logs or database logs, and provide as much as logs you have in your system, or you download it from various sources. Provide it in the Splunk cloud, use search and reporting, filter it, analyze it, report it, alert. So there are many fields we have. So we are basically using those fields one by one in our next sessions. But today I only want to give you like how the basic Splunk setup you can create in your system. Okay, so we can like on the alert section you can simply see like alert set a condition that triggers an action, such as sending an email that contains the result of triggering. Search to list of people, click the name to view the alert, open the alert in search to refine the parameters. So alert, basically in this section you have to create an alert for if something, if a action you define at which is triggered, so alert will be created. So you have to create particularly alerting rules, like any alerts will be triggered will be available here. Then here are the all the reports. So it will take some time to basically open. So here are all the reports, and then you can also visualize your you can create your dashboard also for your Splunk data or Splunk sources or Splunk logs. So it is taking some time to open. So yeah, So dashboard is there, so you can create new dashboard. Okay, and then we can choose what type of dashboard you want, and then you can define the permissions, descriptions and everything, and then your dashboard will be created. So what you have to do first, you have to create an account on Splunk Cloud. First you have to create an account, and only after that you are able to learn about Splunk. And see, we are only talking about one SIM tool, but as you know, there are many other SIM tools available in the industry. So it's important to learn about those also. Like suppose you are giving an interview for some company, and they are particularly looking for some person who's basically performed some hands-on on IBM QRadar. So you are basically not performed some anything on IBM QRadar, but you have that idea in your mind, like what things we have to do as an SOC L1, right? So maybe in IBM QRadar you will see the different layout, the different UI, but the things are same. You have the searches, you have to provide, you have to create alert, you have to create correlation rules, you have to design your dashboard. So understand the primary things, understand the objective of your task, and only then you can you are basically fit for SOCL. Okay, so the task for you today is to design, is to create an account of Splunk Cloud, and provide some logs here which you can download from anywhere. You can search from GitHub, or you can use Google also, any search engine also, for finding some dummy logs. Provide those logs in Splunk Cloud, as you are adding some data in it, and then create the or set the source type, and then visualize it. So before using the functionalities of Splunk, first you have to uh, remember, or you have to see the basic functionalities. Like here are the basic functionalities. We can add team members here, we can add data, we can search, or different things. Okay, so first you have to do this, and then only you are able to learn Splunk completely. So I got one comment, so how can I become a member? So go to the YouTube, and there on the home page you will find a join button. So that using join button you can join it, and you are basically a member of my YouTube account. Now the thing you have to focus on is also this, like why the sim use cases matter. So I am going to show you, or I am going to tell you some use cases and why these matters in sim basically. So the use cases, like if you have some raw logs, like the log I forwarded right now in Splunk, so we can convert raw logs in actionable insights. If you know about those use cases, these use cases will help you in incident detection and response, because in use cases you will have that idea what type of incident happened in your infra, and how you will react it. You can use those use cases, or it will basically support your compliance reporting as well, according to the available compliance policies, which is PCI DSS, HIPAA and GDPR. And it will also reduce some alert fatigue by correlations. So you have to learn about those use cases. So I got a one question from Faiz Ansari, like as an fresher role, how many tools should we learn? So one commercial tool and one open source tool. So for commercial purpose, I will advise you will learn Splunk, and for open source, you can learn either Greylog or Vaiju. These two are best, but you can also use the Elastic one also. Okay. So Prashant is saying every cybersecurity person need to learn Splunk. That's not mandatory. If you are into if you are into red teaming, so Splunk is no use for you. If you are into forensics, then Splunk is no use for you. So yes, if you are into blue team, then you will have the idea, or if you have uh, like if you have to apply for SOC or L1, L2, L3, then the Splunk knowledge is necessary, but only if. So Prashant is also saying like this is a sim designed for SOC analyst. No, Splunk is also doing some more tasks also. Like we are using Splunk for our SOC purpose, but Splunk are more capable of doing things. Like the QA or BA person is also using this. So Splunk is an enterprise level tool and we can do multiple things from it. But we are using it from our SOC analyst perspective. Okay, so the first use case we have is authentication and access monitoring. So use case, what is use case? It's like detect failed suspicious logins. Suppose someone is trying to attack on your infra and they are repetitively launching brute force attacks. So detect failed logins or any suspicious logins. So what, or this particular category falls under authentication and access monitoring. So what you can do, or what type of things or what type of events you basically look for, like multiple failed logins. So the event ID is 4625, as you already know. So you have to detect multiple failed logins or multiple successful logins from different areas or different locations, or any unauthorized RDP logins. So for analyzing those things, you have to learn about the event codes. And I think I give you everything related to event codes. Like the resources are provided, the sessions uh, we already seen for event ID. So you have to learn about, now you have to remember those event IDs, because when you are about to perform or when you are about to analyze those use cases, you will need that knowledge. Because like see, in that case you need to detect the suspicious logins. So you have to detect, you have to uh, you have that knowledge of event ID, and only then you can detect failed or suspicious logins. So how this use case will help you? So it will help detect brute force or account compromise issues in your infra. So suppose any attacker wants to compromise any account in your infra or trying to perform brute force, then this particular use case will help you to detect this thing, and this falls under authentication and access monitoring. So I got one comment which is from T Randoms. So he's saying like he's software developer for 1 year and now he's choosing the SOC analyst. So the career path. So what you can do, you can watch the day one of this series, and you will get the proper SOC analyst L1 path. So there are slides. Go to the video description, you will find a session tracker link, and in the session tracker link there are a drive link for resources. And for resources you can watch, or you can download, sorry, not download, you can view the every slide of this stream, so you will have that particular path. So the second use case we have is privilege escalation. So the use case is detect abnormal privilege uses, or what privileges. So low level user becomes high level, or maybe high level user, or we basically downgrade it. Okay, so any user added to domain admin group, excessive sudo commands in Linux. Like you will encounter events like the sudo commands is running multiple times. So excessive sudo commands in Linux, or use of run as, like this is a command, and ps execution, this is also a command. So if you found these things in the logs, like multiple use of run as command or ps execution command, or excessive use of sudo command, then it might be the case of abnormal privilege uses, and this case uh, falls under privilege escalation. So why we will use this case? So this case is used for insider or threat detection. Then for malware and endpoint threats, the use cases like detecting some any malware execution in infra. So what we can we can use suspicious process creation. So you have to monitor any suspicious process creation using PowerShell.exe with base 64. This is a particular example, but you have to create or you have to analyze any process creation or any suspicious process creation. So you have to monitor the events, and now you have to learn about those events which basically created when the process are when any suspicious process is created in your infra. Then any antivirus alerts that are integrated to SIM or any file hash detection from threat intel feed. And this use case is basically helps us to detect early malware detection. Okay, so you can basically prevent any attack from malware. So this is the information. So another series is also going on for Burp Suite, as if you are into red team or if you are into vulnerability assessment, or if you are doing bug bounties, then Burp Suite is very useful tool for you. So I'm running a series for Burp Suite, and you can watch all those videos on YouTube live streams. So today is also day 6, which is basically about to happen in next few minutes after this stream ends. So you can join it. The next use case we have is network security monitoring. So the case are detect any network related attacks. So first now you have to learn about the network attacks, and then can what you can do in this. So you can analyze any port scanning activities, unusual traffic from any large output data transfer, multiple failed VPN connections. So these are some cases which you can use for detecting the network attacks. And this use case is basically helps you to prevent data exfiltration or lateral movement. So if you know about the data exfiltration and lateral movement, it will be beneficial. Then data exfiltration detection. So the use case is identifying sensitive data leaving the organization. So unusual FTP uploads, high volume of outbound traffic at odd hours, emails with sensitive attachments. So you have to analyze or you have to find out the event codes for these activities. Okay, and then for compliance and audit support use case, so the track regulatory events. So PCI DSS, like the monitor card holder data access, the HIPAA is healthcare data access, or GDPR is basically track data deletion or export requests. So you can use those events for your compliance and audit support also. So the summary of this session is like you using those basic SIM use cases, which are going to help you as an SOC analyst L1 to detect logins or access anomalies, identifying malwares or some insider threats, monitoring your network or data exfiltration, or the in your compliance policy as well. Okay, so in next session we will basically wrap up the things of day 1 to 15. So we are basically on here now. So I'm going to show you the learning path. So we completed all those session now. So the next session will be the question answer and the some hands-on also. So this is the part 1 of this SOC L1 series, and then we are beginning the part 2, in which you are learning the threat intelligence or the MITRA framework, the how to detect common attacks, the or different use cases for these things. So the part 2 of this series is basically going to be a very practical approach, as you can see the topics of day wise. And part 1 is basically the foundation, and part 2 is basically the practical part. Okay, so make sure before moving to the part 2 you will watch all the part 1 videos, or read all the resources that are uploaded on the drive, and do some hands-on installation part or anything, right? Because this part 1 is going to help you in part 2, because it is practically approached. You can see the day wise topics we have. So the use case of phishing analysis, use case of brute force, use cases of malware or real attack logs or Wireshark or templates, or how to trigger tries alert. So everything will be available here. So soon we will going to start the part 2, and part 1 will ends tomorrow. So in tomorrow I will take the QA for this part 1. So anything you have in your mind related to every topic or every day in your so you can ask me on tomorrow's session for Q&A. Okay, and then from Monday we will from this upcoming Monday we will starting this part 2. Got it? And now you can switch to the next stream of Burp Suite, which is going to happen in few minutes. So any question if you have, you can drop in the comments. I'm open to take your queries now. So let me see the chat. So random is asking what salary I can expect. So it depends on the company or the environment or the position you have that time. Prashant is saying how to find virus or malware in SIM after installing the Splunk. Yes, Prashant, we are going to see in part 2. We are basically analyzing a real-time malware detection. Okay, so I'm not seeing any new comments in the chat, so I will wrap up the things here for today. Let's see tomorrow with your questions for this part 1 of SOC L1 series. Okay, take care, bye bye, see you in the next stream.